A new thing to try to fix. Alright. I don't do a lot on the four-wheelers and stuff. This is one of the Honda. I don't want to take off all this crap there. It's a Foreman S. The year, I don't know. I ain't got that far yet. I did one quick test, and I think the starter's bad. Ba-ding-da-ding. Turn the key on. Okay. And now listen when I hit the switch. You can hear the solenoid, okay? So, is the solenoid bad? Or is the starter bad? Or is it wiring? I'm gonna do one simple test to start with, and it's gonna guide me in the direction I think I need to go. I hope so, anyway. Okay, here's my thinking. If I got power coming to the starter and I got good power, you know, the test light's bright or something, and I hear nothing, which I don't hear nothing up here. Whenever I hit that and try to click that, it's just like you hear a click back there, but it's like nothing happens at the starter, all right? So, I want to see if we got power here. And when I do it, I ain't going to hit on the ring terminal or nothing like that. I'm going to hit on the stud itself that goes into the starter, okay, on my test light. Now this starter has one wire going to it. And when you hit the key and turn it on and hit the starter button, it sends power back to that starter solenoid in the back. And you can hear it clicking. So is it sending power through it up to here? And if it's sending full 12 volts up to here, then more than likely we have a starter issue. Now that's not the only side of the circuit you need to look at though. There's also a ground side. You can have all the power you want coming to this terminal, but if it's not grounded to complete the circuit, it ain't gonna do nothing, alright? So I'm gonna take my test light here and I'm gonna hook it to the starter, alright? I could hook it down here to a bolt on the engine or something like that, but how do I know, you know, I want to know that my starter is grounded, alright? So, I should have took the thing off and did the battery. I'm going to put this right on side on the top of this. Okay, I'm going to put it right on the post itself. Now let's look and see when I hit the button. Does the test light come on? Comes on really bright. Now there is a scenario maybe that if that starter was bad and trying to energize or something, it could draw some power down off of there. But knowing we have power here, and this gets me bitten a lot of times, but I'm going to assume we're okay up to here. Alright? The ground, I should have a good ground because I grounded off the starter and to here. It'd be like if I had a grounded down here on this bolt or somewhere like that. You can't see that up here on this bolt. Then I could have power here and no ground, but I'm picking the ground up down there. So that's why I like to put right on the starter, right on there. And it looks like we got good power. Now I'm a little about test lights, you know, there's a lot of them guys on there, oh, well, you always use a test light, and that's a questionable call when you're using a test light, because how do you know how bright, or how do you explain to the customer, well, I don't think the light bulb was as bright, but, you know, we're just looking right now to make sure we have power here. So I think the next step is we're going to get in here and unhook the battery. Alright, they also told me to look at the battery connections because they installed a brand new battery and they don't know that the connections are just right. So we'll look into that and fix whatever that is too, if we have to. Well, that seems to be another kind of a mystery. You got two bolts here, but on a lot of these there's a black plastic cover on the back, and you got to remove that plastic cover and a gear, but there's enough room here, maybe, I hope, to be able to slide this out, because there's no, and the pull rope back here, but there's no no cover. So let's just, first thing we're going to do is disconnect the battery, alright? So let's go up here and disconnect the battery. Okay, let me find the socket. I'm going to assume 10 millimeter, which is this one, a ratchet. Might as well extension it. We're going to take this piece out of the way. Is that the right size? Yep. Yeah, I could be using something else, but remember, if you take this off, remember it goes, this is where your seat matches on, so put it back on the correct way. And for now, let's just put these bolts right back in the hole. Oh, there goes the ratchet. Let's just thread them right back in there for a minute. Okay, let's see what happens here. I need some, I gotta get me some other Allen sockets. I got a bunch of standard ones, but I just noticed I don't have that many of the, oh, what do you want to call it? Metric. That's what I want to call it, metric. So remember, you got a battery terminal and a wire there. And again, I'm going to stick this right on there. So there we go for that right now. And that was a 4 millimeter. So now we shouldn't get no sparky darkies, right? Right? Okay, let's see if we can get this wire off of there. Now, this one, there's nothing below it to hold it to keep it from spinning. If there's a nut, excuse me, if it's a double nut, nut under the terminal, try to hold that, but I don't see nothing holding it there. Let's get the wire off first, because it's right there in the open. Try to hold the wire, keep it from spinning. Now we're going to take this off. We'll tuck the wire out of the way, and for now, we're going to put that nut right back on there. Screw the nut back on, you can't lose it, right? I ain't going to say you can't lose it, but it makes it a lot harder to lose it. So we can just set this right up here somewhere. We can't forget to put it on, because if we forget to put it on, it ain't going to start, right? Now, like I say, a lot of these supposed to have a plate back there, a plastic plate, and I don't see that nowhere. Hopefully it just comes right off. Now there is other things you can do to test the circuit. I could take that, since that wire is off of there, I could ground like a car headlight or something to the machine somewhere, and I could hook the power wire to run the headlight or something off of here, a horn or something like that, whatever you had that took a little bit of a load, more than a test light if you really wanted to. But usually a test light takes a little more amperage than like a multimeter, or an LED test light's just like a multimeter almost. It can light it up, but it don't really take no amperage to do it. So if you get something that's got a bulb, a filament bulb in it, it has to have enough amperage to light the bulb up. So at least you know it can carry a circuit for that. Now that's off of there. See what happens, huh? Guess if we can't get it out of there, then we'll have to figure out something different. Huh. Come right out of there. Is that something they changed to make that happen? Motor spins. Now there is an O-ring here, remember that. So if you do get a new starter or something, you're going to do that O-ring, we'll lube that up a little bit before we stick the new one in. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I got the positive, I got the cables wrapped around the tripod. Anyway, I got the positive on here, alright? And then I'm going to take and just kind of clamp this to the starter, and it should turn. And it does. Why don't I do that on the... I wasn't expecting to do anything. Now it's not. Try this again. But I had good power going to that thing. Mystery. On there. Nothing now. Okay, I got that hooked on there another way. Let's try it. See, why don't I get nothing now? Let me make sure my... Let's try it again, okay? I get nothing. You just seen it running. Let's try this. Let's turn it. Maybe there's a dead spot. Okay, let's try something different here. Let's get a test light, go across these battery cables and make sure they still are powered up, huh? Ain't that weird? Thing act like it's on a run. So we'll hook this to the ground and our test light should light up here, right? It don't. Well, we got a problem with our testing equipment. Let me set this back up and we'll try this again. Okay, so I did a little more testing. Now we hit the actual jaw. I get it. Okay, so we'll have to try this again. I don't like putting the positive on here like that, but see, that's right on there though. But it doesn't sound very good, does it? It's like it's intermittent. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get me a different set of jumper cables and we're going to try it. Because you got to trust your tool, and right now I'm not trusting my tools. Okay, I got another set of jumper cables on here, so let's try that. Are they any good? I don't know. Try not to short that to the case. So, wonder if it's because I spun that starter. Let's try this. If this don't work, then I'll be black with a plan C maybe. I'm gonna try the jumper box. Well, see, now I got power there where I get connection. Maybe it's my jumper cables. Surely you'd think something would make contact, wouldn't it? And I'm pretty sure it's not the battery, because I don't have to test that maybe. Here, you know what? Let's just go to the stud. What can we do? Burn a couple threads? I gotta make sure I still see. Alrighty then. I got one more thing I'll try in a minute. So, now I'm outside here. I'm on the car battery. Okay, a battery we use every day. And I got the jumper cables out of that. I'm just gonna hook them onto there. And now, are you in the picture? Let's try this. See nothing. We got spark. So I'm gonna, well, see, I started doing it, started to go. So it's gonna be the starter. I know, I could have quit the first time, but it just, I wasn't expecting when I first hooked them jumper cables up for that thing to take off running like that. And that's the third set of jumper cables I've tried just to make sure, because I didn't know for sure that those other jumper cables were good because I haven't used them for a while. That's why I wanted to do that, and then a different battery just to take all the variables out. And you see what happened, it wants to run when it wants to. So it's a starter. Here's that old starter. And there's the new starter. Alright, now that new starter is from these people. Alright, so we're going to try it out because it's a fraction of the cost. Let's see what happens to this one. Make sure you get it on them nuts so you don't want to booger up the threads. That's more like it. That's what we wanted to see with the other one. Hear how much quieter that one was too. So far so good. Things are looking up. This starter here, see how it's got a nut holding it together and then one on top. So when you tighten this down, I suggest you put a 10mm or whatever fits on here and hold that bottom nut and then tighten this top one down. You don't want to turn the stud in the starter. Not just this starter, any starter. They're all like that. So here's something else. This here surface, I took Scotch-Brite at least. You want to make sure that's clean because that's where your ground goes, alright? And I also took airline and blew them bolt holes out. That's just something I usually always do. So now, this here O-ring, it's dry. I'm going to put just a little bit of, what I'm going to use is brake grease, that silicone grease from there. And this will rub around there and make it slide in easier. Now I didn't put a lot on there, I just put enough on there, okay? Now when you do this, make sure it goes back in where it belongs. There it goes. Takes a little bit to get that O-ring in there. I had to push in there really hard and wiggle. So now I get both of these started. Almost like I'm in too far, huh? There we go. Yep, we get that one running most of the way down. Now these was 10mm, I think. And I'm going to use my 1/4" drive to tighten these up. They're not super big bolts, so don't try to be a Hercules. Alrighty. So there's that. Now we just got to fish that wire out of there. And if you get any kind of dirt or any kind of corrosion, anything on that wire at all, clean it. Okay, what did you do with the nut? So we're going to get a 10mm wrench on there. That's what's going to hold that and tighten it up and spinning the thing. Also going to hold the wire. Oops. A lot to hold there. So we're going to do snuggy snuggy. And again, this is a 4mm Allen wrench. Could be different. Depending on yours. Now, there's one last thing we got to do. Other than the C is put this piece back on there. So let me get our tools back. I'm going to take these out. What do you think, is going to work or not work? Now the big thing is green light to neutral. Pretty good, eh? That thing, listen to that, that fires right up. It sounds so good. So alright, now, here's the deal. That starter, once again, it's from these people. I bought and paid for it. I'm just going to tell these people, if this starter goes out, I want to know about it and bring it back here, because that way, if I don't make another video, that means the starter's still going. If this starter goes bad, I'll be making another video. Alrighty, whether it be 6 months, a year, 2 years, or whatever it is from now. So hopefully, we won't see no more videos on this starter. Hopefully that'll just take care of it.